Man, what's going on? What's going on? So it seems like we're just a couple of days away before we find out what's exactly is going on between Garry Russell and Devin Haney. Um, like I said before, so far I'm not sure this fight's going to happen. I'm looking at it as a situation where, due to the fact that Devin Haney signed to Eddie Hearn, they're going to follow the blueprint that he basically, I'm saying, that usually uses with his fighters, which is basically try to keep yourself in media, keep people talking about you, attach yourself to certain fighters, but when it comes down to it, not actually do the fights. So Garry Russell is, before it was like Garry Russell said, give me $2 million and we'll do this fight, we'll get it done. You know what I mean? They came back and said, nah, 1.5. So Garry Russell says, fuck, F it. You know what I'm saying? I'll take that 1.5 and let's go. We can do this bout. Let's get it cracking. Let's go on. Let's get it done. So the Haney team comes back and says, yeah, cool, we'll do it for 1.5 with options. If you lose, you got to fight under us for 2 fights, which is something that Garry Russell's not going to do. I mean, Garry Russell wants this fight. He wants a big fight. And he's putting himself into a space where, he's taking a loss when it comes to the type of finances that he should make off these fights. But this is not the situation where Garry Russell is starving in any type of situation, especially financially. Garry Russell has been making over $1 million for a little bit now. Garry Russell usually gets options, as far as with the gate, television rights. With Diaz, he made over $1 million off the gate. He made like $1.2 million off his purse. And then he got 60% of the television money as well. So whatever that was going on with that, he got that as well. He got concessions, gate, all that stuff. He made a substantial amount of money off that particular fight. So he's seen bigger money before. I guess they're saying his last fight, he ended up making like $1.4 million. The fight before that ended up making like $1.4 million. So he's making money. He's making millions every time he fights. And he wants certain fights. And yes, he's only been fighting once a year, but that's by choice. If he wanted to fight twice a year, he'd be fighting twice a year. He could fight lower tier opponents and still make over $1 million a fight. So this is not a situation where somebody that can't get fights at all. This is not a situation where somebody that is only making a couple of $100,000, 100, 200 grand a fight, where a 1.5 is like, wow, it's such a big, huge thing. It's not one of those situations. He just wants to, fight one of these top guys and do whatever he has to do in order to, get it done, just because he wants to fight him. But he's not going to sell himself for a soul. You know what I mean? Whether he, like his brother had said, like, we're going to fight on your background, in your backyard. So we could beat you for 12 rounds and we can still get robbed. So now we get robbed, what? We're going to now fight under you after we got robbed? That makes no freaking sense. And to me, it makes no sense just due to the fact that he's with Al Heyman. So he can get fights. He can get paid over $1 million for those fights. He doesn't need them to do that if he loses. He doesn't need them in any way. They're not doing him any favors by doing so. He knows what he can get, when it comes to, working with Al Heyman. When it comes to those options, if the gates come back, what he can get from the gates, what he can get from television rights, what he can get, not options, but what he can get for television rights, what he can get from the gate, what he can get from concessions, what he can get from promoter fees. There's a lot of different parts they can get money from, and still be in a space where he's free to still be able to go, to different places, wherever he needs to go in order to get that bread. So he's not going to close himself up, especially in a place like the Zone that's a closed app. Say that they don't even have a schedule yet for this year, for the end of this year, as far as when it comes to the American fights. They don't even have a schedule set up yet for that. They're doing all types of budget cuts. They're trying to pay Canelo only half his purse. You don't even know what they're gonna be able to do for you, or how if you're ready to fight, how long you might be sitting down. You don't know those things. So will they end up saying F it and you're like, all right, let's just give him the 1.5 and do that? I guess by Friday we'll know. Because I guess another option that Russell has is, I guess he's coming up to 135 pounds regardless, which I don't think he should do. But he's going up to, I guess what they're looking at is maybe him coming up to 135 pounds and fighting Fortuna. And in doing so, if he wins that fight, becoming Devin Haney's mandatory anyway. then that gets called. They can just say, F it, let's go to purse bid. They can win the purse bid, then they're in full control of that fight now. Where they can be like, we're going to have that fight on Showtime. We're going to have that fight on Fox. And if the zone says, nah, you can't go because you're under us, he's going to have to give that belt up. You know, so it can put him into a really effed up situation if he doesn't take this fight. You know, like what I always say, people always try to pump their chests up when they're going against Al Heyman, thinking that they have all the, you know, the T's crossed and the I's dotted, and all of a sudden just this dude comes out of nowhere and just cuts you up into 100 different, but what's it called, into 100 different pieces, and your parts of you are just falling and hitting the ground, and you're wondering how the hell I just got into this situation. We've seen him do that time and time again. So if this guy's saying, hey, yo, I'll take this 1.5 and let's just do this, it's probably in their best interest to just do this. Because the way this man set things up, it might end up being into a situation that doesn't work very well for them. You know, but we'll see. But me personally, what I think he should be doing, though, I think Garry Russell talked about how he's a WBC champion at 126, so he's able to move up and automatically take on the champion at 130 pounds. That's what I believe he should be doing. I believe he should go up to 130 pounds, fight a fight where it becomes a mandatory, where he can get that fight mandated against Burchell, fighting him, get that belt. Then once he has that belt, you're looking real good at a unification, I think, with Tank, especially if he continues to talk this way and it keeps the internet burning up, keeps all the talk about him, and just all his energy is putting towards Devin. I think he should have been putting all his energy towards Tank instead. And then put himself into a space where by the end of next year, it would have been a huge pay-per-view bout. And I mean monstrous, where they could have each end up making $7-10 million. I think that's the route that he should do, because it can be that. You're going to get 350,000 plus people paying for that if you're able to work to that. So I think that's what he actually should be working at, not this 135-ish. You know, but, you know, shortly though, a couple of days, we're going to see. We're going to see the Devin Haney, if this test team does get this fight set up, give this man the money that he wants, and scratches all that option BS, because Garry Russell made it very clear. I'm not doing no options. You can put a rematch clause in there if you want to, but that's about it. But as far as the option stuff, that's for the birds. We ain't doing that. If you want to do that, we'll just go on to our second option. Like they said, we have something on deck. We have something set, ready to go, where I'm going to get paid the same amount as I'm going to get paid fighting you. So it's not like they're hungry for a fight or they can't get a fight. They can get a fight. You know, it's just he has chosen to only fight once a year. He chose that. So we'll see what happens in a couple of days. What I think is going to happen, I think Devin and the team, they're going to go with the Eddie Hearn plan and just, you know, be like, well, we can't do it if he wasn't want to do the options. You know what I'm saying? This is the way the business goes, and you want to do the business the way the business goes, and then just go their own way, end up fighting somebody like Gamboa instead. But I'm hoping I'm wrong, just in case. You know, I'm hoping I'm wrong. And I'll be happy to come out here and be like, you know what? I was wrong, and this fight's on. Because at the end of the day, that's what we want to happen. But for now, like, subscribe, share. I'm out.